I mean, your other guest, I mean, I don't know what kind of a creature he is. He's a kind of low-grade thug, as far as I can see. He's listened to nothing I've said.
Yeah, I know,
You
because I'm Muslim. That's what
monster.
you call
You do
all
something.
Muslims.
I'll tell you. No, it's not that at
Racist.
all. It's not that at all. I just think that I think you're just a very low-rent racist. But anyway.
Look at this. Oh my gosh, Cenk, like, oh yeah, because I'm a Muslim. First of all, you idiot, you're not a Muslim, okay? You don't even believe, you're an agnostic, so don't. He regrets leaving Islam because he realizes how valuable the Muslim card is. So he's now back being a Muslim, because anytime somebody attacks you, like, oh yeah, you're a bigot because I'm a Muslim. Look at how this is the third time. It was Mehdi Hassan, then Cornel West, and now Cenk is using their racism and bigotry card because, oh yeah, because I'm Muslim. Sure, yeah, sure. He hasn't been. He has been celebrating many other people who are Muslims. He has been celebrating their position and agreeing with them. So it cannot be because you're a Muslim, you freaking moron. Unbelievable.
I mean, your other guest, I mean, I don't know what kind of a creature he is. He's a kind of low-grade thug, as far as I can see. He's listened to nothing I've said.
Yeah, I know, because I'm Muslim. That's what you
You
call
do
all
something.
Muslims.
I'll tell you. No, it's not that at all. It's not that at all. I just think that I think you're just a very low-rent racist. But anyway, let me just get on to it. You say first of all, you say, I don't care about the death of Palestinian children. Yes, I do care. I care very deeply about it. But I also know that the responsibility for their deaths lies on Hamas, which has misgoverned their society for the last 16 years and now has been leading the country into being in a war with Israel. So yes, it's on Hamas, this. As for seeing wars, by the way, I just mentioned about seeing wars because as far as I can see, you're very...
Okay, so I don't know why Douglas Murray. So I agree with him that the responsibility of Palestinian children dying lies mostly with Hamas. I don't know why he considers Cenk to be racist. Okay, again, you have to be very careful with the accusation of racism, because unless somebody says something that shows that they're racist, like directly says a racist thing, or just takes pride in their racism, even if they take the most evil positions or the most idiotic positions, you shouldn't try. It's not a good idea to try to attribute, guess their intention, unless it's pretty clear. I don't know what Douglas has seen that is now accusing him of racism. Maybe he has seen something that will make it fair. But again, I don't know how he says that. I'm not saying he's not a racist. I just say I haven't seen anything that would make me so comfortable so easily to guess someone's intentions behind what they are saying.
Very ill-traveled, as well as rather ill-lettered and ill-spoken. And I mention that I cover wars and go to wars because I happen to think myself that it's worth seeing things with your own eyes, including things that you don't particularly like, but you report the truth. I don't know if you ever even leave your own bedroom. And I can tell already that you don't, because you've already said something that demonstrates,
Yeah, again, I love Douglas Murray and a lot of the things he says, but don't say things that could be so easily wrong. Like, I can tell that you don't leave your bedroom. I mean, you don't know that. What if he just now says, like, I actually was in Israel just last week. Now you would look like an idiot. So don't say things that you don't have any actually hard evidence for.
know nothing about this conflict. You have just demonstrated it in the following terms. You said that this is why we need to push for a two-state solution and give legitimacy to the Palestinian Authority. I'll tell you something you don't know.
Oh yeah, no. Two-state solution I agree with in the long term. Not now. The Palestinian Authority have no legitimacy. So if you're against that, I'm also agree with.
Because I guess you spent no time in the West Bank, have you? I'll tell you something you probably don't know.
I have.
The Palestinian Authority, Fatah, celebrated the...
But also, here's the thing. I've spent time in the West Bank. I've been to Palestine. But I think this is not a good way to criticize somebody, because you could have not been to the West Bank and have studied your entire life. You could be more informed. You could have not gone to the West Bank and be more informed relative to somebody that has been to West Bank, given the amount of time that you spent studying it. So this is not a good metric to see who's as somebody who has been to West Bank myself, I would say that's not a good metric, because imagine how many Americans, for example, are ill-informed about U.S. politics, but they are in the United States. So you could, like, would you say like, oh, I have been to the United States? Now, do that now make you an authority of or about U.S. politics? Like, no, it doesn't. So I don't think that's a fair way to evaluate whether somebody has good takes or not.
7th of October massacres. I'll give you another fact which demonstrates you know nothing about this and clearly haven't ever visited any Palestinians in the West Bank as I have. If there was an election tomorrow in the West Bank, the reason why there isn't one is because if there was an election tomorrow in the West Bank, Hamas would win. So your idea of
Yeah, so that's true. And you could know that he's right. That's why you cannot have support a two-state solution right now. And also, you could figure that out by looking at opinion polls. You don't need to go to West Bank to figure that out. In fact, if you go to West Bank and spend even 2 years there and come back and don't look at any opinion polls, you wouldn't know that. You can't, like, so visiting West Bank will not give you that information. Looking at opinion polls will give you that information.
a two-state solution, I'm afraid you are so out of date and you really should leave your bedroom, because in this region nobody thinks that there is a two-state solution on the table because there is not a viable negotiating partner. But
yeah, right now he's right, but remember, right now you should not throw away this two-state solution completely, given that there's no viable solutions right now, given that there's no viable negotiating partners on the other side right now. Yes, I agree all of that. That means this is not a good solution at the moment, but I'm hoping for the long distant future. I'm hoping that it could become viable at some point. I'm not saying it will be, but I don't think we should give up that hope.
I just want to make one other main point. You have gone on and on tonight, throwing accusations out against the Jewish state, against me. It's the sort of thing you do. I know you're a sort of online pugilist and think you can run for office, and good luck with that. But I'd just like to point out that you only...
I mean, you can run for office. You don't have to win. Running for office has its benefits, even if you don't win. So he can, unfortunately, he can win.
Really get animated if the Jews are involved. And I can tell that for the following reason. I mean, your surname's Uyghur, isn't it? 1 million Uyghur Muslims in China have been put in concentration camps in the last decade. And people of your ilk never really care about that, do you? Because it's not the Jews doing it, it's the Chinese Communist Party. At the moment, 1 million
Yeah, this, by the way, Atheist Republic as a channel has this is something I'm very proud of, right? We, as an atheist channel, as an anti-Islamic atheist channel, have spoken more in defense of Muslims in China than the top English-speaking Islamic channels, the top 5 combined, right? So even back when it wasn't very a big topic, like even before UN reports and before it became a bigger topic, we have this channel, like some of its oldest videos, if you go look at it, like some of its earliest videos was in defense of, I'm trying to bring attention to Muslims, Arab Muslims in Yemen and their situation. And we talked about the situation in Yemen before any of the top English Islamic channels were talking about them and defending them. And the situations in Yemen, and the Yemeni situation is a lot worse than Gaza. And we, as an atheist channel who is unapologetically always anti-Islam, defended Muslims in that situation. And we didn't see anything from most Muslim channels for a very long time. We even talked about it before even mainstream media was talking about it on this channel. Go look at our record, because we defend humans. We are against religions, but we're not against religious people. We defend humans on this channel. So this channel has a really good record. I'm really proud of this channel's record when it comes to speaking about defending human rights, being against religions, but defending humans. So the bias does exist. Like Douglas Murray is correct. It seems like when it comes to Muslims or Arabs in Gaza, people talk about it a lot more. Not that they shouldn't talk about it. Their lives matter, obviously, but there seems to be a bias when it comes to them relative to every other Muslim or Arab group out there. And the factor, if you eliminate all factors, the only factor that will remain that makes them more deserving of attention, it seems, is that they're being attacked by Jews. It's the Jewish element that is different. So, but that doesn't mean that every single person who's bringing attention to Palestine or talking about Palestinian rights is racist against Jews. The main engine, the main fuel that brings a lot more attention to this is the Jewish factor, but that leads to a lot more people who are not even anti-Jewish to talk about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So because a lot of people with ill intentions against Jews are successful in making this a big topic, a lot of people who are not anti-Jewish will also talk about it more. So it's not a contradiction to say the reason why people talk about this more is because it's the anti-Jewish factor. And at the same time, not everybody who's talking about this more than other groups of people is not necessarily that individual or that institution necessarily is not anti-Jewish, even if there seems to be a bias in their reporting and what they're talking about. So maybe you're talking about this more than other conflicts, but that's because anti-Jewish people have been successful in making this such a hot topic, not because you are specifically anti-Jewish yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? But let's continue.
1 million people who are who are in Pakistan at the moment, who are your fellow Muslims and who happen to be Afghan, and I don't think you care about them, do you? 1 million Afghans are currently being forcibly deported from Pakistan to Afghanistan. You don't care about that, you know.
Yeah, that's an actual deportation rather than an alleged deportation. That's like half the population of the entirety of Gaza was being deported from Pakistan to Afghanistan. That's insane. And we talked about this both on our English channel and on our Persian channel.
Not riled up about that. You're not riled up about what the Janjaweed are currently doing in Sudan, where thousands and thousands of people are being attacked by the Islamist militia there. You don't care about any of that. You get exercised and you rile up what little base you have of malcontents because you're riled up when the Jews do anything.
All right,
it's
Cenk,
perfectly obvious.
So you don't know. Again, that's an accusation that I'm not willing to make. You cannot know if that specific individual has that motivation. You could make that accusation that there's a general global motivation that makes this such a bigger topic. But again, I would be careful not to act like I know a specific individual's intentions. That is an accusation that I'm not comfortable in making.
Okay, Cenk, your response.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, my last name is Uygur. We're named after the Uyghur Turks in China. And have we talked about that on the Young Turks?
I thought you'd spoken up then.
Yes. Yes, we've talked about it endlessly, but you don't know that, and you don't.
See, this is why you don't make assumptions about the person that you're talking to. Because if they have talked about it, now you look like a fool. See? So don't just, when you're debating somebody, just look at that one statement and criticize that one statement, because you don't have to make any assumptions. You don't have to make any assumptions. You could like, this statement is wrong. This statement is idiotic. Also, you could sometimes guess and the motivations, but also show uncertainty about your guess. That's a clever thing to do, right? But when it comes to responding to somebody, just show how idiotic that statement that they're making is without talk, because he's already making so many foolish claims that are easy to refute. Why do you have to go and guess his intentions or guess the things that he has done, and now you look like an idiot? Like, now it's so easy because his arguments, Cenk's arguments, are idiotically stupid and easy to respond to. But now you said that he hasn't talked about something, and apparently he has. That's why you don't make assumptions.
Watch the show.
Shame nobody watches your show.
So
look, Douglas Murray, I love you, but you are changing the subject. You said he hasn't talked about Chinese Uyghurs, and now he says he has, and now you're saying, well, nobody watches his show. Actually, unfortunately, millions and millions of people watch his show. So you are now, unfortunately, Douglas Murray walked into a trap. He made a baseless assumption. His assumption was incorrect. And now that he's being caught, instead of, now he has to say, like, nobody watches your show. That's also not correct. Now he can embarrass you even more by saying, actually, we have one of the most popular shows on YouTube, which he does, unfortunately. So Look, Douglas Murray. This is not a good performance by Douglas Murray here right now. Look.
Okay, Cenk, your response.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, my last name is Uygur. We're named after the Uyghur Turks in China. And have we talked about that on the Young Turks?
Spoken up then.
Yes. Yes, we've talked about it endlessly, but you don't know that, and you don't watch the show.
Shame nobody watches your show.
So
nobody watches this show. Are you serious? Have you seen how many views these people get?
Nobody does watch your show.
Yeah, well, okay, again, you're interrupting me when I was kind enough to let you go on with your mad ramblings. So how nobody watches the show, we have 5 billion views a year. I don't know what piddling outfit.
5 billion a year. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. Again, you said something. Why are you making it so easy for this idiot to make you look like you're wrong? Don't give him these things. Just respond to the things, the stupid things that he's saying, rather than making you're making it so easy for him. It's so easy for him to like crush you now. God damn it. Nobody watches the show. 5 billion people watch this show every year. And guys, that is very scary. That is very scary that such an idiotic show gets that many views.
5 billion views a year. I don't know what piddling outfit you're on, or what little Substack or whatever the hell you write on. So the reason we're incredibly popular.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, Cenk gets more views than Douglas Murray. So if you want to criticize him for nobody watching his show, well, he gets more people watch him than you, unfortunately.
I only write for all the main newspapers.
We fight for shut up. We fight for all innocent.
Oh, now Douglas is like saying, see, he keeps changing the subject. Like, oh, I only write for major newspapers. Yeah, which less people read than a show on YouTube. And if you want to dismiss YouTube, well, Piers Morgan gets a lot of views on YouTube as well. Like, I don't know why people want to, I don't know.
Civilians. So, yes, we've covered all of those conflicts. Yes, I'm against fundamentalist Islam. No question about it. I'm against fundamentalist.
Yeah, here's what Douglas Murray should have said like right now. Okay, you're against fundamentalist Islam. Okay, then you should be against Islam, because any problem you have with fundamentalist Islam, you should have also with the fundamentals of Islam. The reason why anybody would be against fundamentalists of Islam is because there's a problem with the fundamentals of Islam. That's how you respond to somebody like that.
Religions of all kind. In terms of every right-wing supporter of Israel, their only tactic is, hey, don't look at the 8,000.
I should be on this show responding to this idiot.
Murdered children. Don't look at the 6,400 murdered women. Don't look at the fact that all the hospitals in northern Gaza have been shut down. Don't look at the fact that 4 out of 5 people in northern Gaza.
Again, you say Hamas figures, okay? What if it comes out that they're the right figures? Again, I don't trust Hamas, but I'm not going to dismiss them as not true, because then I'm going to look like an idiot if the numbers are proven to be close to accurate. So I would say I don't trust Hamas, but I wouldn't act like their numbers are. I know that these are not the right numbers. I would say even if these are the correct numbers, that's what I would say. Look at the combatant to civilian ratio. That is pretty good. Like IDF has achieved a very good ratio when you compare that to the average of other modern warfares. That's what I would say.
Gaza are starving right now, and half of the people in southern Gaza are starving. Instead, anti-Semite.
Guys, I have the best comebacks here. Okay, I love Douglas Murray, but if I have better comebacks relative to Douglas Murray, that means I'm doing really good here. So like, I don't know if Hamas numbers are true. This is how I would respond. I don't know if Hamas numbers were true. Okay, because here's the thing: Hamas numbers before, like in other warfare, is a number that even the Israeli government has went with, so I cannot completely dismiss them. But I would say I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but even if they are true, look at the combatant to the civilian ratio and criticize, judge Israel based on that. Isn't that a better response rather than the one that you're getting here?
Now, wait a minute. I just told you how much I want peace and security for Israel. How much I hated what happened on.
No, it's not 90%, guys. It's not 90. No, 90% is not the correct number. So here's the thing: when it comes to numbers of casualties, Hamas numbers could be correct. It's not. I mean, there are many flaws that Hamas has also admitted these days when it comes to their data, right? But if it's not like 30,000, it's not going to come as 5,000. Maybe it's not 30,000. Maybe it's 20,000. It's not going to be like, oh, oopsie, it's not 30,000. It's like 5,000 or 10,000. You know, it's not going to be really high up there. Maybe it's 25,000, even if they're wrong, right? But what you can't trust Hamas at all with is the categorization of who was a civilian and who was a combatant, right? So according to Israel, a couple of months ago, I think, the number of combatants were, when Hamas was saying that the number of casualties was 20,000, the number of combatants being killed was 9,000. So the 90% ratio is false. That's like, that is a Hamas number that you cannot trust, because we don't have a record of Hamas being a reliable source for identifying who's a civilian and who's not. That is so yeah, the 90% number is not accurate. But let's continue.
October 7th. What you don't know is I started the Young Turks with 2 Jewish friends. And so the whole program is both Jews and Muslims. You know nothing. You know nothing. I have Jewish family and friends. Why in the world?
I have Jewish friends. Is that like I have black friends, therefore I cannot be racist? I mean, actually, that is a fair. I'm not going to get into that. But again,
Gods, as they go.
Again, I'm not going to try to guess if you're racist or not. I'm just going to look at your argument and be like, this argument is wrong and this argument is correct. I don't care. I mean, I would care about whether racism exists systematically within an environment or within a society, and I could see it. But within an individual, unless you tell me that you're a racist or show me that you're a racist, I only care about the validity and the soundness of your argument rather than what's your intention.
Go to Israel, I want them to be safe, okay? So I have shown empathy for all civilians throughout everything I have ever done. But all you have is hatred. Oh, he's an anti-Semite. Kill the Muslims. Kill the Palestinians. And once...
But you do the same thing as well. Yeah, if somebody just assumes that you're an anti-Semite, they're wrong. But Cenk, you yourself have been calling other people racist because you don't like their conclusions. So yeah, what you're saying is correct, but please apply that standard to yourself.
We kill them, by the way. We'll blame them for it. Israel had to murder all those babies in Palestine because Hamas made us do it. Then why are you listening to Hamas? Why?
What are you talking about? Like, is that the look at the argument? Like, why are you listening to? Look at this argument. This is the parts that you could like shut them up.
Poor gods, as they go to Israel, I want them to be safe. Okay. So I have shown empathy for all civilians throughout everything I have ever done. But all you have is hatred. Oh, he's an anti-Semite. Kill the Muslims. Kill the Palestinians. And once we kill them, by the way, we'll blame them for it. Israel had to murder all those babies in Palestine because Hamas made us do it. Then why are you listening to Hamas? Why are you letting Hamas drive your agenda? Well, you don't have to kill those civilians. It's a mass assassination factory.
What are you talking about? When you say Hamas made us do it, it doesn't mean that Hamas is telling us to, hey, Israel, can you come clean this baby? And Israel is like, yeah, I mean, they're asking us to do it, so we have no choice. Okay, give us these babies to kill. What argument are you responding to? Do you even understand what the other side is saying? The other side, when you attack a country, you have to respond. When they hide behind civilians, even if you try your best to try to avoid civilian casualties, civilians will die. That's what they're saying when they're saying Hamas made us do it. Not that we're submitting to a request by Hamas to kill Palestinian children, you idiot. This is so easy to respond to. Like, why are you listening to Hamas? As if Hamas, like, submitted a formal request to Israel to come kill Palestinian babies, and Israel is committing, we have no choice but to respond to that request. What argument are you responding to? Idiot. If you hold a baby and you're shooting at my family, okay? And if I eventually take a shot at you and you die and the baby dies as well, and if I tell you that I'm sorry I killed the baby, he made me do it, and then you come to me, why are you why are you accepting their request? Like, what request? What, like, why are you following their orders? Why are you letting them control what you do? Like, I'm not letting them. They forced me. They were shooting at my family while holding a baby. I didn't. You call me the murderer of that baby. I didn't murder that baby. I was defending my family. Like, this is such a simple concept. Why don't people understand this? Unbelievable.